Here we are in the garage because it's cold out there, people. It's like in the mid 20s. Look, I bought salt. They say we're gonna get snow the next few days. The temperatures are gonna go way down. It's gonna be real cute. I'm sure you thought, oh, it's just a big desert out here. It's not cold, blah, blah, blah. But it is, it's gonna get pretty cold. But that's all right, because I have some work to do in the garage. The FZ, I wanna change the oil on it, which is gonna be tricky with the skid plate. I wanna pull the chain slider out and see what it looks like. The XR, what I wanna do to change the sprocket. Got a 14 tooth on it right now. I wanna put a 15 tooth on it, making the gearing sort of taller. Normally people are doing that if they're trying to get the RPMs down a little bit at highway speeds, if they're gonna be doing a lot of highway riding. It's actually fine the way it is. It's like a 14, I think 44 right now. And here's what it was 1544. And I was riding around and I was like, God, this thing is running at such low RPM going down the road. I went to a 14 tooth, which with the 14 tooth, it's very similar to my FZ. I can go 65 miles an hour and still be under 5,000 RPMs. Oddly enough, it feels slower with a shorter front sprocket, which I know sounds completely backwards, but I swear it wheelied easier with this sprocket on. And I think what it is that bike, he's got just great globs of low end torque. I mean, you've seen it. The time I raced my brother with his DRZ, if I let my bike wrap all the way to red line every time, there's a moment where we kind of are the same, and then every time I shifted, I would regain on him. You want to get on top of that torque, if you will. It'll also be even better going down the highway. Not necessary. So let's get it up on the lift here. I still get questions about this all the time. Is it junk? Yeah, it's fine. I like it. It's a really good lift. So we're gonna get the bike up on there. I gotta get some gloves on. I'm cold. Sometimes I recycle old motorcycle gloves into working gloves. And these really aren't that bad. They have a small hole right here. I mean, these are still perfectly fine. I feel almost bad because these are really nice gloves, but they're not a sponsor anymore. They used to be a sponsor, they're not. It's not anything went bad. They just, well, it's a funny story about that. I'll tell it for Patreon.
Hey, you there. Who, me? Yeah, you. You remember TheGardenSnakes Patreon page? Oh my God, no, why should I be? Yeah, you should be. Hey, remember this guy? He joined the Patreon page. Now look at him. Bam. He's so hot. Oh, because he joined. Oh my God, where do I join? No, wait. I'm gonna show you some more. This is what a non-Patreon video looks like. Look at it. It's so boring. PG rated. That's gay. Well, look at the Patreon version. All you have to do is spend $1 and you get the X-rated version today.
Let's get the XR up on the lift. See if I can do it without the ramp. I think I'd be able to. Bam. There you go. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. This is one of the few things about this lift that I have discovered. Because these straps up front are so narrow, you do have a little bit of stability. So if you can put one of these under the bike, which you almost always can, it's a good idea. And then you don't make these super tight, because as you raise it, these get tight, and these are tight enough, and the whole thing's very stable now. So that's one of the few little things about having a lift this narrow. Otherwise, it's pretty much fine. Little surface rust on the axle right there. This is one of the little advantages of having your bolts just bolt into something that holds the sprocket on. You don't really have to worry about trying to hold the sprocket as much. You can just sort of zip them off. You really can't strip the shaft out. And if you ever do strip something out, you're stripping out something in the sprocket, not on your actual shaft. There can be a little play back and forth on this guy because the way this thing locks up on there. And over time that can eat this up, but it would take a long time. It's a pretty good system. Honda's been using it for years. I'm gonna go get some latex gloves because this is gonna be gross. What I've done is I've popped it off the back, so now we have a lot of room, see? Yeah, that's the thing nobody does. They always try to pull these sprockets off with just that little bit of slack. No, pop it off the chain, and yeah, you have all the slack in the world. Our spline actually looks really good. It's not chowdered out or anything that sometimes happens to these. Our seal back here looks good. I mean, there's a little bit of dirt and grime, but there's no obvious, there'd always be like, you'd see if there was like a line of oil or something coming down if you need to replace your countershaft seal. Here, also, while I'm at it, do a little spray around here. I'm gonna clean that up in a minute. I have to get it perfect, but just trying to get some of the big junk off. That looks pretty good. This probably all just gets slung out, but even if I'm wrong and it just gets slung out, it doesn't matter. It's not gonna hurt anything. As I like to put just a little dab of some grease on these splines here whenever I have access to them. Spread it out so it's not just some big globs on there. It's a steel spline with a steel sprocket on it. It's open up to the elements, so it's not gonna hurt anything. I'll tell you that. That extra amount that's squished out there, but I like that because look, it's nice and even extra amount that's squished out now, which tells me that I've got a considerable amount in there. All right, I literally just bought some blue Loctite and I have no idea where it is, so I'm gonna put red Loctite on these, but I'm gonna put a very, very small amount. How many Ugga-Dugs do you think this needs? At least 3, I'd imagine. It'll try to chase you, but not as bad when it's just on the center. That's tight enough. I feel like I see so many people with supermotos that are way too tight. Remember, this is a dirt bike setup. This has got almost a foot of travel in the back. It's pretty long. You have to have the correct slack in it, or you're gonna hurt the countershaft of your motor. Is the big thing you got to worry about. Breaking the chain, you'd get lucky if that's all you did. You can try to go buy these notches on here, but they're so-so. I've always liked just doing something like this, you know, just getting an actual measurement to the back. Good time to put that rag in the chain because this will help hold it up tight while we're tightening it up. A tiny bit of surface rust that was in here. After I let that WD-40 sit on it, I literally just wiped it and it all came off. What I'll do is I'll put just a little dollop of grease right up around here just so that I got something trying to protect it a little better next time. Same on the other side. Even the other side actually looks fine. I'll do the same thing. That won't hurt it. This entire shaft is steel. We'll put a little dab of grease on the whole thing. It's not going to hurt it. This is the thing with the axle sliders. I mean, they're good to have. I'd rather have them than not have them. But that is one of the things to consider is that, yeah, they are potentially trapping water in this area that's normally just open. So that should help it out. Everything's happy. Normally I would have cleaned the bike up before doing this work, but it's too cold to go outside and clean the bike up. So yeah, as you can see, the wheels are pretty gross. Look, my nose is dripping. Man, is it that cold? I'm cold, y'all. My nose is dripping. Well, I have to call it quits here in a minute, which of course, it's actually just going to continually get worse, but at least, you know, maybe go inside and warm up a little bit. But let me just get done with this. I'm almost done with this bike. When we're done with that one, I'll probably get the FZ. I don't know. I gotta see what's going to happen, because if it's going to start snowing, I might need to get the car in the garage. We'll see what the weather's looking like. Let's see if we can start this thing, because it's like 20-something degrees in the garage right now. I don't think I've ever had this thing even running at that temperature. This would be a fun test. We'll see how the Electron does. Yeah, let's do that. Let's make some room and I'll do that. Everybody likes this shot. Even though it's mostly full of fuel, yeah, filling it up. Okay. The choke on the Electron, normally it won't run on the choke. The choke is so aggressive. It's almost like you need it though, because it's like a primer. So normally you try to start it with the choke on until it goes pop pop like it tries to start, then you turn it off and you get it running. But if it's this cold, there's a good chance it'll actually just run on choke, which would be neat. It means I probably actually get this started in one kick. Because it's cold, I can get started in one kick instead of two. So the actual potential of that, which is kind of odd. Let's do a couple bang throughs, get some fuel in it. Okay, I'll get off kickstand. I think it's easier to do it off kickstand, honestly. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's see if she'll one kick. Didn't want to do it. I did put the choke on, right? Yeah. Keys on. Ooh, it might not like this cold weather. All right, well, let's see if it'll run choke off now. Woo! Yeah, it's not gonna stay running like that. But it did come on. That's cool. All right, let's park this thing up. I'll get back in the morning. We'll finish up with the other bike. God, it is chilly. Okay. I'm going inside.